So I went on a search for the best budgeting app available and kept seeing YNAB mentioned pretty much everywhere I looked. As a fan of just using standard Excel spreadsheets, I was a little bit skeptical once I created my account, but after researching further and trying out YNAB for a little while, I do see why millions of people love using it. And that's why in this video, I want to help you decide if it's also the right tool for you to better manage your own money. So today I'll cover an overview of YNAB, demonstrate how it works, and then explain the main pros and cons to consider before signing up. And let's get into it. Before diving in, there's one quick thing I need to clear up, and that is that YNAB is an acronym for You Need a Budget, and truer words have never been spoken. If you don't know how much money is coming in or going out of your life, you're probably going to struggle to have a healthy relationship with your finances. You should think of your budget and your money as a business, and it's really the business of you. Just like any business, you need to track your income, your expenses, and ultimately plan for long-term growth. This strategy has helped me in my own personal life to pay off my student debt and really just to get ahead financially overall. For background, YNAB is different from some other budgeting methods you may be used to in that it's a zero-based budgeting system. So what does that mean? Basically, every dollar you have needs to be assigned a purpose, whether it's paying for rent, groceries, student debt, or just kept as savings. In this way, you allocate your money to ensure your budget is fully accounted for down to zero. Again, this doesn't mean you're spending every dollar. You can have some money as savings. Every dollar just needs a purpose. The important thing to note with YNAB is that you only budget for the money you currently have available today. Said another way, you don't include future paychecks or any money that's expected to come in until it's actually available. There are two main ways to create and access your account. The first being a mobile app available for Android and iPhone users, and the second way being a web app available on your computer. The system itself is fairly straightforward in design and relatively easy to use once you get the hang of it. Next, for full transparency, YNAB costs money to use. There is a free trial for a little over a month, and I'll leave an affiliate link in the description if you're interested. But yes, the full version costs money. The annual cost is currently a little bit over $100. And you're probably thinking that it is counterintuitive to pay for a budgeting app. And while that's totally understandable, according to YNAB, the average user saves $6,000 in their first year. I believe if you put your own money into a program, you're more likely going to actually budget. Beyond spreadsheets, there are free alternatives, but I've noticed, at least in my experience, like 99% of the time, you have to pay to use certain features. There's really nothing that's fully for free. Just my thoughts, but either way, I'd recommend at least giving the free trial a chance, link in the description. If you haven't been scared away yet, let's learn how YNAB actually works. Once you follow the link in the description, you'll be hit with this screen where you can start your free trial, sign in, and then from there, you're going to be met with a starter budget template. And this is the main YNAB dashboard. As you see here, there are different categories: bills, needs, wants, and then certain line items that are just pre-populated and may not be relevant for your own budget. As a first step, I recommend connecting your bank accounts and any credit cards that you actually use. This is one of the best features of YNAB. It allows you to take your transactions, the items you spend, the money that comes in, and have it flow directly into this YNAB dashboard. It's done through Plaid, which is really the industry standard. It's a secure, trusted platform. And once you connect your accounts, you'll notice at the top in the green, ready to assign, that's basically your available balance. At this point, I think it's best to start to really modify the budget to make sense for your own life. For example, if you pay rent instead of a mortgage, you can modify text. Additionally, you can add in a new category. This is something I like to do and just call it savings. Then from there, you can drag up something like emergency fund if you have one, if you're working towards building one. And then maybe you want to add something like a Roth IRA you're trying to max out with $7,000 per year of contributions. Then you can go in here and add targets. This is essentially the amount you expect to spend per month, per week, per year. I prefer to do my budgeting by month. As you can see, I type in an estimate. Maybe it's $1,500 for rent, then certain amounts for your phone, internet, utilities. Once you have these targets set up, the next step is when it becomes a zero-based budget. And that's because every dollar needs to be assigned a purpose. To do that, we're really just looking at the ready to assign amount at the top and then filling in these dollars based on the targets. For example, you want to start out by making sure you have money for rent, for any of your bills. If you have money left over after assigning things, you can put a bigger portion to savings. The main goal is to get the ready to assign to zero. If you wanted to fully max out your Roth IRA with $7,000, you'll see there's not enough money available, at least in this checking account, to do so. That's why it's turned red and there's a button to fix this, where you'd have to pull money from another area. And if that's the case, you do not want to type in that full amount, especially if it's something that isn't 100% needed in your budget right now. One thing to call out is that if you set a target of maybe $400 for groceries, that doesn't mean you have to actually spend $400. If you've ever heard of the envelope stuffing process, it's taking $400 you have available, putting it in an envelope. Then if you only spend $300, there's still $100 left over there. If you overspend at the end of the month in a category, you have the ability to shift any underspend from other line items. Maybe your utilities was lower than needed, so you can add that funding there. If not, you may have to reallocate funds from next month, so you're spending less in a certain category to make sure you're staying on track. For this next feature, I'm going to switch to my live budget, which actually has some transactions. And this is one of the best features in my eyes, and it's really that all of your expenses are flowing into this dashboard. If you have a charge come in from a grocery store, it'll pop up, and you have the ability to allocate that spend, that money, to the groceries category. In a similar way, if you get direct deposit added to your account from work, this will just increase your ready to assign figures and free up some more money to try to hit your targets or to put funding into savings. There are certain visualizations you can look at to get a better grip on your spending habits, where your money's going. Like clearly I'm spending too much on dining out and caffeine this month. This process might seem a little bit tedious, especially if you're not used to doing it, but getting into this mindset shift, this routine, this habit is critical to understand what you're doing with your money. There are many nuances I simply don't have the time to cover in this video, but now you should get the main gist of how YNAB works. With that out of the way, let's highlight some main pros and cons that may not be super obvious for somebody on the fence about signing up. Before doing that, make sure to click the first link in the description to take our completely free finance assessment. It's a great way to see where you really stand with your money. The first pro to consider with YNAB is the community feel. There are videos that the company itself releases to help you understand how to set up your budget and answer different questions. And additionally, there are just various videos on YouTube with people explaining some good strategies. And this becomes more important as I'll explain in the cons section. Additionally, there is an active subreddit with over 200,000 members. In here, users share tips, ask questions, and offer advice. I've even seen responses from the official YNAB on the subreddit itself, which really have gone above and beyond trying to help out users with different questions. The next pro is reconciliation, or really just building a good habit. You've likely noticed that this app is not a set it and forget it tool. This means you have to be in tune with your spending. You're gonna have to look at your transactions, understand when your money comes in and when it goes out. But overall, if you do this successfully, you can reap the benefits of having a good budget, which ties directly to the mission of this channel to help you unlock financial freedom. The last pro to consider is what's called YNAB Together. This is essentially a collaborative group feature where you can budget with family members or your partner. It's a great way to reach your financial goals together as a unit. You can all still have your own separate budgets, or if preferred, you can combine everything into one. Another thing that's great is the YNAB Together feature is included with the regular cost for the YNAB subscription. Additionally, everybody has their own username and password, so there's less issues with any form of data security. Through these videos, the information is free, but I do my best to try to be fully transparent, especially when reviewing financial products. And no financial product review is complete without covering some cons. So let's look at those for YNAB as well. The biggest con is the learning curve. For instance, not including your future income might come as a surprise for somebody who is used to budgeting and looking ahead to the future. YNAB's philosophy is to encourage living within your means. And this is exactly why you don't bring in your anticipated income until it's there. If we think back to the pros section, this is where the community feel becomes critical. Having others in similar situations with questions probably already asked makes the onboarding process much easier. Next up is the subscription fee. The app is not free to use, but everything beyond an Excel spreadsheet tends to be a freemium model where it might seem like you're getting the full experience for zero, but more than likely there are different features that you need to pay to unlock. Last but not least, which I actually listed as a pro as well, but can be a con to some, and that is the reconciliation. This is not a set it and forget it budget. You're going to have to create your account, set your targets, and then make sure you're scanning through your transactions and reconciling things at the end of the month, end of the year, etc. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on YNAB in the comment section below, and make sure to watch this video next.